Hello there, Facebook.
I don't understand why it looks like it's at an angle.
Because it kind of is. I don't know. We'll have to work. Whoa!
Oh, Steven.
Jeez. Is that better? No? Oh, look at that. It comes straighter right there, right?
Isn't that weird?
That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's not straight.
All right. My producer, she's producing and directing
Maybe a little bit back.
and being beautiful.
There.
Okay, right there. Right there. How are we looking? Good? Are we good to go? I think we should begin. I think we should see what's going to go on with interest rates and a few other things, housing,
Don't break the screen.
all that. What's that?
Someone says, hey there, don't break the screen.
All right, let's get going. Stephen Thomas. Reports on Housing, episode number, what is this, 49? Holy smokes. Next week is episode 50? Wow. We should have a happy hour, a whole hour with 50 episodes. That's amazing. So, quantitative economics, decision sciences major from UC San Diego. That's the sister school of UCLA. We just don't have a football team. 29 years in the business, Orange County native, Capital Valley High School grad, 9 kids, avid runner. Those are my kids, our kids. I brought 6, my wife brought 2, I adopted her, she adopted mine, and then we had that guy. That's right, Zeke. And I've been in the press, and our company is Reports on Housing. It's your local real estate snapshot. Basically, we don't really emphasize that much on closed sales data because that's more a reflection of what's going on in the past. I like to talk about what's going on right now and where we go in the future. We do talk a little bit about closed sales in our reports, but it's just not an emphasis at all unless there's something major that happens.
Over just a little bit that way.
This way?
Yeah,
Oh, thank you. My producer director is telling me to move a little bit. She's so pretty. And this is what we focus on. Looking out the windshield, we're looking at the active listing inventory, supply, and the last 30 days worth of pending sales, demand. And from that, we're able to tell you how fast the market's going. That's the speedometer. The expected market time tells you how fast the market is. The lower the expected market time, pounding in the for sale sign when you're opening up escrow. So the lower that number, the faster the market. It's like you're speeding. And right now, Southern California, yes, we're getting away with it. We're speeding like at 130 miles per hour. It's all about setting expectations, and we have a lot of reports that dot all over Southern California, from LA, Orange County, San Diego, Riverside, San Bernardino. And the most recent one that came out, San Bernardino and Riverside got theirs this week. Last week, Orange County, Los Angeles, San Diego got this one, values going up. So if you were actually to sign up today, we'll still send you this last one. You're going to get another one for Orange County, Los Angeles, San Diego, this coming up Monday, because we just crunched the numbers last night. And we're coming out with a new report this coming up week. We alternate weeks. And go to reportsonhousing.com, click on subscribe. Every 2 weeks this puppy comes out. There's plenty, and we send it by email, and there's a ton of links at the bottom. It's all so that you can dial it in and make it work for however you want. Listing presentations, postcards, you name it. There's so many different ways that agents have done it. I've seen it all out there, and the bottom line is it's there to help you in your campaigns to educate buyers, sellers, clients, friends, family, everybody. It's $15 per month or $150 per year, and you get a month free if you sign up utilizing the coupon code Halloween, because guess what tomorrow is? Halloween. That's right. So that's the coupon code. Does that make sense? People are saying, what do you dress up as? We'll get to that in a second. But I'd like to first thank our sponsor. Our sponsor is my buddy and your buddy, Kevin Buddy, at Monarch Coast Financial. And at Monarch Coast Financial, they have more than one kind of borrower. Everybody does, but they have so many different programs. They have more than one kind of loan for them. And what do they bring? They bring solutions, and it's everything from full doc loans to alternative doc loans to investor financing and private money. So whatever you need, full doc to private money and everything in between. And loads of experience. Yes, Kevin Buddy, he's been around for a long time helping buyers finance their dream homes, and He's been doing this since 1976. He knows a thing or two, and he follows the economy, follows rates, follows all the trends, and he's super smart, gifted guy. So plug into Kevin Buddy at Monarch Coast Financial. Contact him, and he can help you as well. 949-422-2075. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it again for your sponsorship. Now let's get into some fun photos. We call them fall fun photos. And here they are. Sure enough, my kids had no clue. Another one of these slides that my kids have no clue. My kids will never know that awful feeling of realizing there's no VHS tape behind the box of the video store. Yeah, we want to watch this. Beep. Plays. Unbelievable. They don't understand. And you had to rewind the tape, or you got dinged for not rewinding your tape.
They call it re-forward.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's right. Our kids call it, can you re-forward the tape? They don't understand the concept of rewind. I get it. Warning, I have to warn you, these next jokes are like all dad jokes. So my wife's not going to laugh very loud. My kids will. That's what it's all about. I just thought of something. People who take care of chickens are literally chicken tenders. My wife says I'd laugh at my own jokes, but you know what? That's funny. How about this one? I'm sorry, but I've got a very sad post. Wait, I got another one. I feel like there is some sort of untold story behind this. I know all the women out there are just shaking their heads. But all the men, they're laughing because they get this humor. It's called sarcasm. So what is heavier, water or butane? Water. Butane is a lighter fluid. My wife is literally staring at me. Woo! That's some good stuff right there.
Seriously, like, yeah. Even the comment about it being, yeah, no.
It's funny. That's funny. And what am I dressing up for Halloween? That's right. Oh, maybe... can you run downstairs, Mason, and get my little mini light? I actually have a mini light for when I do presentations. If you can get that, that'd be great. And I'll show you what it looks like. This is what I'm dressing up as. See this? This is pretty cool. My wife took these pictures because she couldn't believe what I was wearing, because I worked out last week, and then afterwards I still had my workout gear on. I just put on a suit from the waist up, and that's how we rock and roll. And this is me putting on my jacket. And this is what I'm going to go as. I'm going to go as somebody that Zooms and wears shorts and flip-flops with a little mini light. That's right. That's what I'm dressing up for Halloween with the kids, because we're having a big Halloween party for ourselves here at the Thomas compound. And speaking of Thomas compound, I had to show you this. This is the way our front of the house looks. This is, by the way, thank you very much, Mason. You can come over here if you want. I have this mini light. If you see these mini lights, this light actually lights me up, and I use this for for Zoom presentations where I'm presenting. Pretty fun little light. I highly recommend it, by the way.
That's part of your costume.
Yes, this is going to be part of my costume. Come on over here. Say hello to the masses. Right on this side. Come around. I'm going to trip over all my cords. See? You can have this back. This is Mason. Mason Edward Thomas. Say hello to everybody.
Hi.
There you go. He's a man of a lot of words. Thank you very much,
Do you want to
Mason.
tell everybody what he's
What are you going to be for Halloween? You can tell everybody.
A zombie.
A zombie. Yes. That's how I am at the end of the week with lack of sleep. I'm a zombie myself, Mason. Just don't have blood and guts coming out. But I digress. This is us getting food at our door, and this is our front of our house. They actually, they take a little snapshot and they text you and say, it was delivered. And I liked it so much that I wanted to share it because it shows you how scary our house is. That's what we like to decorate it. My wife's not a big fan of once we turn her beautiful house into something scary. This will be taken down on Sunday after we get an extra hour of sleep. So, Southern California market, let's get right into it. And yes, it's very fast paced market. But you know what we're going into? We're experiencing for a very short period of time fall. So we had this really long spring that really began in July, where we really started to feel it. We went July, August, September, and then the first week of October, and then we had a summer market. The summer market lasted about 3 weeks. And we're now into a fall market where supply drops and demand drops. That's what we're experiencing right now. So it's kind of like a fall-like market. But right after that, we're going to go right into the holidays as soon as we get to Thanksgiving. So that fall market is going to be this big, and then we're going to have the holidays, and that's where the inventory is dropping faster and demand starts to drop as well. And we'll get into those numbers and what they look like. But this is the supply as of yesterday. And this is where we're at. You can see supply actually went down 2%. We shaved 576 homes in the last 2 weeks. And if I compare last year to this year, it's 39,340. That was 55% more homes on the market. It's actually, we were a little bit more, and now it's starting to squeeze. And inventory was falling really fast last year. We're not going to fall down at that same rate. We're going to fall more towards the red line. And the reason for that is because we're already at a very low level, but we still are going to drop. So, and I'll show you what that looks like. But if I draw a line across as far as where the inventory has been and where we're going, so it's the lowest level since April of 2013. That's where we're at presently today, the lowest level since April 2013. But April 2013, we were at 24,161. So we basically only need to shave about 1,400 more homes by now to the end of the year, and we are going to do it. And we're going to start off next year at the lowest level since I started tracking it in 2012. And if you look, this is where we're going to go for the rest of the year. You can see we're going to continue to go at that pace where we're going down, shaving, and then once we get to Thanksgiving or right before, the week before, fewer homes will come on the market and homeowners will throw in the towel that have been on the market for quite some time and have had no success. There are those homes that are out there, those listings that have been on the market for too long because they were priced wrong, or there are other things that need to be done that hadn't been addressed. And so they're going to be pulling their homes off the market to enjoy the holidays. So we're going to start off next year with a record low number of homes. And new for sale signs. So I wanted to see what this trend looks like, and it's starting to abate just a little bit, but not really in a couple counties. But what we're doing is we're looking at the number of for sale signs that are pounded into the front yards of homes and windows of homes as well. And basically, LA County, this is from September 17th to October 15th, so that 4-week period. I'll be doing it for all of October, but we're not really done with October, and that number continues to evolve over time. So this has been long enough where this is pretty accurate. LA County is up 22% year over year from September 17th to October 15th, 2020 versus 2019, so that 4-week period of time. So I'm taking it, because before I was talking about the month of September. Now I'm trying to push it forward to see what the trends continue to be. So LA was at like 12% for the month of September, 12 or 14, can't remember because it was constantly evolving and changing as I was going backwards, but it's at up 22%. Now Orange County was like up 25%, but now is 22%, and I have a feeling that if I was to take a snapshot of the last week, that's when we're starting to see a slowdown in the number of homes coming on the market compared to last year. I mean, it's still more than last year, but not at this velocity. So Riverside County, we were up 6% compared to last year, so it's almost where it was for the month of September, a little bit lighter. And San Bernardino is up 4%, so it's actually a little bit heavier, but they were last of the party. They just, for the first time ever in September, had more homes come on the market than the prior year. And then San Diego is only up 2%. So San Diego is kind of a push, and I'm also coming up later on when I do October, see what it compares to the 5-year average as well, so that you can get a better depiction of not just last year, because last year at this time we were putting a few fewer homes compared to the prior years. So when I'm comparing it to last year, it's not comparing it to apples and oranges. So we're going to have to make that modification going forward for the months of October, November, and December compared to the 5-year average. So, Southern California housing demand, that's the last 30 days worth of pending sales, and this is where we're at, still quite elevated. Yesterday we were at 20,127, it went down 1% in 2 weeks. So the inventory went down several percent, and the demand only went down 1%. So we actually have the inventory coming down faster than demand. This is still remaining elevated. And if I compare it to last year, this discrepancy actually got larger. And last year at 14,831, that's 26% fewer than where we are today. and I did it to the wrong line. I was supposed to do the purple line, so it actually grew because that was from 2 weeks prior. So you can see it's actually a little bit more. I actually put it on the 2017 line, so that's how much more it is than 2017. And if I look at demand, the last time we were this low for where we're at right now, it's the strongest demand reading since 2012. That's this whole period from the summertime. And you can see from summer on, it's actually since about July on, it has been elevated. So July, August, September, October, we haven't seen demand like this since 2012. So that's a strong demand reading. And then it's the strongest finished October since tracking began. So where we are poised right now compared to any other time, it is stronger than all other markets for Southern California as a whole since I tracked it in 2012. And demand year over year, where are we going to go? We're going to continue to trail down slightly. And then once we get to the week before Thanksgiving, that's where people are going to start to put their home shopping on hold. Not everybody, because remember, this is still elevated. These are the number of escrows going in on a 30-day basis. Look how high it is. Yes, we're coming down, but look at it, where it is compared to prior years. Then it's going to fall at a more rapid rate like it does every single year because we're enjoying the holidays. It still doesn't mean we're not going to be busy. We are doing this many, that we're doing approximately, by the time we get to the end of the year, a little under 15,000 pending sales for a 30-day period for all of Southern California. You compare that to prior years and we're a lot closer to the 10,000 home mark, between 10 and 11,000 homes. So that's a big difference between 10, 11 to 15,000. That's a lot more escrows. So for a lot of people working in real estate, Christmas, Hanukkah, the holidays are canceled for you. You're going to be very busy at the end of the year. And yes, we're going at 130 miles per hour. That's because we have low supply and very, very, very high demand. And the combination of those two, that's the speed. Remember, expected market time is the speed. It's not days on market. Throw out everything you learned about days on market and stop telling everybody about it. Tell them about expected market time. That's really all we should be talking about with our clients. Because the expected market time is the true flavor of where we're at right now. This is where we're at. And if you look at it, yesterday we were at 38 days. It is flat for the last couple of weeks. And hasn't really changed much. In the 30s is really, really solid. It's gone down a little bit. I think we're at 37.9 to be exact. And a couple weeks ago we were at 38.1. So yes, technically it went down a little bit, but I don't like to do decimal points. It's pretty much 38 days. Let's call it what it is. Place your home on the market today, you're going into escrow in 38 days. Compare that to last year. Place your home on the market, you're going to escrow 80 days. That's called a slight seller's market. This is called a hot seller's market. This is where we're at. And that's the difference between this year and last year. And if I draw a line across, the last time we were this busy from July through October, it's the lowest level since tracking, period. It even beats 2013. This is the springtime of 2013. It beats that. And that's because of the supply that we have and demand. And don't fool yourselves. It doesn't mean we don't have enough homes coming on the market. I just showed you we're having more homes come on the market than the prior year. It's just we're shoving them all into escrow, and they are pending. So if we were to pop up interest rates, which we'll talk about shortly, that can slow down the market. And we put fewer in escrow, and there's more that are piling up on the market that don't go into escrow. So they accumulate over time. That's the difference between higher interest rates and lower interest rates. So we placed virtually the same number of homes on the market typically year to year. This year's been a little bit different because of the pandemic. Not that many homes coming on the market before, now more homes coming on before, but for the year we will actually have placed fewer homes on the market than prior years because of the pandemic. And this is the expected market time. You see how these black lines are going, what in the world are you talking about, Stephen? I only talk about this, and I talked about it before, is because below here is a hot seller's market where prices are appreciating, and that's where we have been behaving for quite some time, which is why we're getting fast appreciation across the United States, because this is not just a Southern California thing. We have low number of homes actively listed on the market and very, very high demand, pending sales escrows. And if you look at that, see that? We're operating in this range, and we're going to be operating there for the rest of the year. This is where we're going to go. We're going to go from here And then we're going to hit Thanksgiving and things will slow down just a bit, but it'll remain at a hot seller's market with rapid appreciation. And if you look at that between here, this is 60 and 90 days. This is a slight seller's market. That's where not as much appreciation. Sellers going to call the shots. This is between 90 and 120 days. This is a balanced market. This is, you can see where we did this. This is when we had interest rates rising all the way up to 5% by the time we got to November, and that's why we had an accumulation of homes on the market and demand was dropping, and so we had the expected market time rising continuously through the end of the year. That was this year. This was 2018. And this is balanced, so it doesn't favor buyers or sellers between 90 and 120. Between 120 and 150, that's a slight buyer's market. Buyers get to call more of the shots, but we're not going down in value. You have to be above 150 for it to be a deep buyer's market, and you have to be there for a while. And then we start to see values strip away. We're not close to anything like that. We're stuck below 60 days hot seller's market. Home values will be on the rise for the rest of the year and into next year. So, and just a little caveat, little asterisk, I need you to know that we're going to be going into the holiday market really soon, because Sunday is November 1st and we get an extra hour's sleep, but then in just a couple of short weeks it will start the holiday market, because we'll be shopping, getting ready for Thanksgiving, and there still will be activity. It's just going to start to slow a bit, and that's what the holidays are going to be about. So they're upon us. We're going to have a very, very short autumn market, little window of an autumn market feel. And let's talk about interest rates and where are rates headed. So I'm going to get into this. I actually do this in my forecast, but I've changed it up a little bit for this live so I can go into detail as to why I follow things. So you can see this is the 30-year mortgages where they're at. This was as of yesterday. Last week was at 2.8. That was a record low. It was the 11th record low of the year. And this week we're at 2.81%, which ties 2 weeks ago, which was the prior record. We had 11 records. So this is just matches a record from 2 weeks ago. Not quite. It went slightly up, very, very slightly. And this is a survey from across the United States for 49 years. And you can see since 1980, where have rates been headed? They've been headed down. This is, and people, you could say it was manipulation of the Fed back here, but that's been the pressure for a long period of time and around the world for long-term rates to fall. And that was as we opened up and we became more of a worldwide economy, not just a small, tight economy with the United States. There's many, many reasons for it, but that's just one of them. And 10-year, and why, and then I need you to know that this is the 30-year mortgage over time. That's this. This is the 10-year treasury. Do you see how they follow each other? They're not exactly right together, but they do follow pretty much the same trajectory all the way across the board. This was a problem. This is when things got unhinged a little bit, and this was the beginning of our pandemic. So this was in March, and when I draw a line across, this is March. This is when everything broke, and so did this 10-year, 30-year, this stickiness. But you could see as time went on, it is coming closer together, where more closer to where it should be long term. It's not quite there, but it's definitely making its way back. This is why I follow the 10-year treasury, because the 30-year bonds, 30-year mortgages follow really closely to the marching beat of the 10-year treasury. So, and don't look at the the federal funds short-term rate. That's the Federal Reserve. Don't look at that. That is for short-term loans like automobiles and credit cards. Instead, we follow this 10-year treasury, and this is going back to the beginning of time, and you can see this is from 1980 on, the 10-year treasury. Where has it been headed? Down, just like the 30-year mortgage. And where have we been? This is the 5-year thing. So you can see interest rates got lower into threes, then they got higher, and they got all the way up to 5%. This was November of 2018 when they reached that 5% level, and then they started coming down for 2019. But this created a lot more homes on the market because we had 5% interest rates, and that's why 2019 was kind of a bust as far as appreciation was concerned, because we had too many homes in the market during the spring that were left over from the third and fourth quarter of 2018. But then it kept on falling, and you could see then we had this big fall off is the pandemic that we've been experiencing, the pandemic. So this is the November 5% interest rates. This is where we're at right now. These are interest rates where we've been riding in the twos lately. So, and then I get even closer. I'm looking at year to date. So this is year to date. We started off here at the beginning of the year and then fell with the 10-year treasury. And then it went up and then we locked down protocols and we've been below 1 ever since. And we've never been below 1 before. That means they don't pay well, but everybody's flocking to 10-year treasuries because they're so uncertain about the economy, the global economy, the US economy, that they are parking their money in 10-year treasuries, one of the safest bets in the world. So that's why they're so low. So, but you can see something's going on over here. Now I'm gonna, this is year to date. Now I'm gonna show you what it looks like over the last 3 months. It's looking a little different, isn't it? That's when you keep on zooming in. You gotta zoom in because from here to here, something's going on. That's the last 3 months. And we've had this slight rise over time. And this slight rise over time is the economy slowly but surely progressively getting better. And that we need to keep track of because this thing is knocking on the door of going above 1%. It's at 0.85 right now, and it's going to take some good news in order for it to get above 1%. And once it gets above 1, we're going to start to see interest rates float up towards 3, and then down the road, they can go higher. And what is good news? FDA approves COVID-19 vaccine, and it starts to get it out to people. That will be good news for the overall economy, and you're going to see a bump in the 10-year treasury. Then also voting. Voting can also move the 10-year treasury. We'll have to see how everybody takes it, but the results of it can be a positive or it can be a negative. We'll have to wait and see, but this too will move the U.S. Treasury. A relief bill. So we've been talking about this relief bill 4.0. That's the fourth relief bill. They did 3, and then they actually did another, what I call 3.5, where they had to add more short-term small business loans. And then they were talking about doing this fourth relief package, but it hasn't happened yet. And it's not going to happen until after the election. But once we do get that next relief bill, because we still do need it, as economists, we all kind of agree for the most part that we need another relief bill. Those are just to get the economy and a lot of Americans from where we are at the pandemic to the other side once we have a vaccine being deployed. So that's the relief bill. We're going to get that once that's positive news. That's why actually the 10-year treasury was going up last week. Then it came back down, but now it's going back up again. It's because of the relief bill. So that was in the news and they were talking about doing it, but I was sitting there saying, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen until after the election. And then we'll, down the road, after everything get back going again, we're going to have a stimulus package. So we can have stimulus package to help stimulate the economy a little bit more. That too can raise the 10-year treasury. And then as we get jobs and more jobs come online and get better jobs reports, that too will lift the 10-year treasury. And then when America is back, compliments of Logan Motoshami, but when America is back and there's a lot of the economy is performing, but there's still sectors that are still hurting. But when we get more and more of the robust economy back, that too can affect interest, the 10-year treasury. And when the 10-year treasury is going up, interest rates will be rising as well. And so I'm giving you this because this is the impact of rising rates. And you can see this is where we're at right now, 2.8%. You pick your mortgage amount, $250, $500, $700. Let's go ahead and pick on $500. You can see that that once we get to 3%, which isn't far, you're adding more to the monthly mortgage amount, principal and interest, and it keeps on going up. And we've been here in time. March of 2020, we were at 3.5%. That wasn't that long ago, yet we were at 3.5%. Look what the difference is. That is an extra couple $100 here, it's an extra $100 here, and it's near an extra almost $300 here. It would be if I put this at $750, but near $300 here, and that's just going from 2.8 to 3.5%. Now, if things get better and better and better down the road, and I think next year we could see interest rates that start here and eventually make their way up towards here. And that's where I think they can go. But you know what? We've been higher in the past, 4.25. We've been there March of 2019. This was May of 2019 at 4%. And you can see what happens. There's a total erosion in mortgage payment and in buying power the higher you go in interest rates. And so that would be any kind of the positive news, because we've had just a deluge of negative news that has kept the 10-year treasury down. And it's going to take positive news to go up, and then down the road we could get more negative news that brings it back down. So, but this is kind of what we're anticipating right now. As far as interest rates impact on affordability, so this is where we're at right now. For $3,000 per month with 28% down, you're looking at you want that's your payment, just principal and interest. You're looking at $912,500 house right now. And you can see once you get to 3.5%, now you're only looking at an $835,000 house. And let's say you get all the way to 4%, you can see what happens, this erosion of buying power, the longer you wait. So what do I anticipate happening next year? I can see that prices are going to be going up, and you're looking at buying a smaller home because of the erosion of buying power. So these are the kind of things you want to get in front of your clients. Now, I am going to put this big caveat. There are things that can bring the 10-year treasury down again. And in the future, after we come out of this pandemic, these are the kind of things that we're constantly looking for. And it's the negative news. It's the United States-Chinese trade war, or as Logan likes to call it, the tap dance. But still, a lot of negative news, and as a result, it moves the 10-year treasury down when negative things happen. Worldwide slowdown, if there are some countries that come out of this thing and then go back into recession, it can pull down the 10-year treasury and even Wall Street, all that stuff. Brexit, that's been something that's affected our own 10-year treasury. COVID-19, that's something with new problem areas and things like that could continue to affect the 10-year treasury. And then slowdown of the economy, any kind of slowdown, any sectors can negatively impact it. It's just overall fear. Anything that is got everybody scared and fearful, biting their nails, going, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? I think this can impact the economy. They flood to 10-year treasuries. So that's what brings 10-year treasuries down. I hope everybody kind of understands that, because that's really how mortgage interest rates move. And then now let's talk about coronavirus really quick, and I want to bring everybody up to speed because there's a lot going on in COVID-19 land. The world has been spiking. This is as of this morning. We're at 45 million cases around the world, and it's climbing at a very, very rapid pace. Very rapid pace. Anyways, it was at 397,000 just a week ago, and today it's at 475,000 every single day for the last 7 days. That's the average. This average is going up at a very rapid pace. We're going to hit 500,000 within the next couple of days, so we'll be putting on 500,000 new cases worldwide every single day. And this is just telling you what happened in Europe. I'm going to go over it again because Europe really they have an awful story here. So they were being hammered in tourism, as was the whole world, but they were down 66% in tourism, and it's a big part of their economy is tourism. And as a result, once they got a hold of the virus and everybody was feeling all hunky-dory, only 17% of Europe had travel restrictions, so they opened up Europe. And as a result, now that they have this problem, look at this, they're locking down Europe again. But that's because they have a problem, and that's because they came down, and then they opened things back up, and then they are spiking, and as of this week, we hear about France and Germany shutting things down, and that's because of this. This is what we call a parabolic spike, where it's just going off the charts. And we're at 5.95 million cases in the EU, and this is where we're at right now. We're averaging 177,000 cases per day for the last 7 days in the EU, and it will continue to go up because I've seen what the last few days' numbers are, so it's going to continue to spike up. And this is what when we compare it to the United States, but now we've got to normalize it for population, and you can see we're not quite at the same level where they were at over here, because they started their pandemic earlier, so we're about 3 weeks behind them. And you could see that we're pretty neck and neck right here. We'll have to see how much we follow this. I actually think we're going to cross it right here, but it's going to go up towards this kind of level before we level off sometime in December. But they have 446 million people, citizens. We have 328 million. In the United States, this is where we're at. We're at 8.5 million cases around the world. And this is the United States, and last week we were averaging 53,500 cases for the last 7 days, and now this week it's 61,000 cases per day for the last 7 days. It is going up, and when I draw a line across, I'm doing that intentionally so you could see this was the initial spike, and then we had the sun belt, and then we came down, and now this is the latest one, and it's just really beginning. And it's just it's turning into that EU parabolic spike right now, where it's continuing to go up at a rapid rate. If you didn't see yesterday's numbers, they were above 90,000 cases, and that was the most ever since we've been in the pandemic. And this is COVID-19 testing. You could say that we're doing a lot of tests. Yesterday we did 1 million tests, and it still didn't bring the positivity rate down enough. I think there's either North Dakota or South Dakota has a 50% positivity rate, which means they are literally only testing people they absolutely are certain they think have COVID-19. They have like half of them have it, which means there's a lot more spread, and they need to do more testing to figure out, because you need to get this number of tests below 5%, really to be at 3%, so you can properly contact trace. And at this point in some of those states, it's just too late to contact trace because it's beyond that. It's just going up too fast. But we're at 8.1% positivity rate, and this is the 7-day moving average for positivity rate. We got down to 5% for a second, and we want to be at 5% or lower, and really at 3%, and then it's been going up. So, and you could see we're going to probably surpass this number, and this was back during the summer months. Positivity rate. California, 868,000 cases, and for the last 7 days, 4,300. Actually came down. We've had more lockdown protocols than almost any other state, kind of like New York State's kind of been there as well. And you can see it's really helped out quite a bit. It's kept things at bay, but I still imagine that things are going to go negative because we can't help but spread this thing more once kids come back from college. The weather gets colder, we're all indoors. We're in California, we could be outdoors a little bit more than the rest of the country, but things will get colder for us Californians, where we have to go inside and wear jackets and stuff like that. But as far as unlocking the economy is concerned, this is the tier system for Southern California. I'm getting rid of explaining everything other than this is the colors that we're presently at right now. Just know I'm tracking everything right now, and you have to be in a certain, you have to be, if the numbers change for the good, you have to be there for 2 weeks, or if they go negative, they have to be there for 2 weeks before you can change. And as far as the movement's concerned, from the prior week to this week, where everything's at right now, there is no change as of this last Tuesday. There's nothing positive, there's nothing negative, which means we're all staying in these tiers for the next at least several weeks. And I imagine that once we get into December, Orange County and San Diego County will probably move to the purple tier again like Riverside did. We're just going to do it at a later date because we're going into the, the latter fall and into winter seasons. And so let's talk about the macroeconomic outlook. Unemployment, I said it's been really sticky. We're at 751,000 last week, came down a little bit from the prior week, but we've been stuck at right around 750 to 800,000. And the reason for it's stuck there, and the peak during the Great Recession is 665,000. We did it over a lot longer period of time. This looks like a long period of time, but when you compare it, it's just because we're zooming in. And the unemployment looks, we get a lot of people that are going into unemployment, then coming out, then going back into it, aka Riverside County. Lots of counties like that across the United States that were fine, that went bad, that went bad, that got better, and then are bad again. So what that does is that changes that initial unemployment claim, and it makes it really sticky and high. And then we got forbearance, dropped from 5.92% to 5.9%. There are 3 million people now that are in forbearance, and it was all the way at 4.3 million in June. You can see we've stripped to 1.3 million. Almost all of them are paying like they normally should on a monthly basis, coming out of forbearance. And there's a lot of good news around this. So it's just highlighting the fact that everybody was drawing this big conclusion. There's going to be this giant wave of foreclosures, and I'm here to tell you it's just not going to happen. And only it's 90% of everybody in forbearance has at least 10% equity, which means they'll have equity to draw from in order to sell their home. And I'm telling you, if you do 10% of 3 million, that's 300,000. That's not that many people. When you look at it, not all 300,000 people would become distressed. Down the road, they'll probably defer those payments, put them at the end, and let's say that half of them lose their jobs. That's like probably the most negative statement I can make, but let's say half of them, that's 150,000 short sales or foreclosures across the United States over a 1.5 year period of time. It doesn't begin till like the second half of 2021, and that is more of a wake from a boat than a ocean wave. And then mortgage purchase applications up 24% year over year, 23 weeks straight of year over year gains. GDP was just dropped. This is the first analysis of GDP, and it's up 33.1%. You have to understand, though, what we did here during the second quarter was the biggest drop ever. We compare quarter to quarter, so this was the biggest drop ever in United States history, beating the Great Depression. So it was now that was when we locked things down. Then once we opened things up, we saw the economy boom, so that was why we got to see this quarter three that was really good. Now what we really want to see is what's really going on. This is GDP over time. You can see it was continuing to go up. This was the last recession. We came out of the recession and it was going up continuously, and then we got to the first quarter of 2020, and that's because we went down a little bit with those last 3 weeks in March. It was negative, and then we dropped. And now we're coming back. But you can see there's still, in order to get on this line, there's still a lot of room that it's got to go. And it's not going to continue to go at this parabolic spike. It's going to be more like this. It's going to be stretched out over the next couple of years before we get back to that line and where we should have continued to go up. So there are some sectors of the economy that are suffering, aka travel, aka leisure, entertainment, that type of thing, that have been really hurt and damaged, and they will come back down the roads. There will be companies that will go out of business. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that will be kind of like pulling down on GDP, but the same token, as things open up and we get this vaccine, we're going to see us continue to improve the economy. That's why it's going to improve, but at a slower rate going forward. And this is the employment. You can see we're at 159 million, and then we dropped down, but not a lot of people talk about employment. Now we're at about 148 million that are employed, but there's still this gap of about 10 million, and it's going to take time. It's not going to go up like this. You can see it's very sticky at about 148 million. It's going to take time before it totally goes back up, and it's going to take a while to get there to where we were before. It's going to take several years, because this was excellent employment prior to this pandemic. And the antidote for all this thing is COVID-19 vaccine. As soon as we get this thing, we're going to start to see things improve a bit more. So that's it. Reportsonhousing.com. Subscribe. Go there, subscribe, and you get a month free if you sign up utilizing the coupon code Halloween. And it's $15 a month or $150 per year. It's a no-brainer, right? Monarch Coast Financial, Kevin Buddy, thank you for your sponsorship. We really appreciate it. You know what? Everybody does more than one kind of borrow. They have more than one kind of loan. And the expertise of Kevin Buddy at Monarch Coast Financial. They do everything from full doc loans to private money and everything in between. And he has loads and loads of experience. He's been doing this since 1976 when he was 5 years old. And he is just such a great guy, smart guy, knows everything that's going on in the economy, and you'll like him just as much as I do. Kevin Buddy, call him today at 949-422-2075. That's 949-422-2075. And wait, I have a kid. Just in time. I have a child. Pop up there. I know you can use your muscles. What's your name?
Athena Thomas.
And what are you dressing up tomorrow for Halloween?
Zombie. Cheerleader zombie.
Yes. Mommy was burning the cheerleader outfit. Oh yes, she was. We're gonna groove it. And if anybody's good at makeup, I mean, I'm okay at makeup, but who's gonna probably do your makeup?
Mommy.
Because Mommy's really good at makeup. Oh wait, we got another kid. What are you gonna dress up tomorrow for Halloween?
Firefighter.
Are you gonna be a firefighter?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, come here. I want to show you something. I've got something I want to show you. Go grab your brother. Go grab your little brother.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. He's scared. You don't have to watch the rest of the Facebook Live. Uh-oh. Is that real?
Roll over.
Can I borrow your stick? I want to show everybody at least your stick. Give me your stick. He painted his stick, all these different colors. I wish I could show you, but he is halfway between Daddy and Mommy. Daddy's extremely outgoing, Mommy's a little bit shyer, and so he's halfway in between. Sometimes he likes to go in front of the camera, sometimes he doesn't. Right, Zeke?
Yeah.
What are you going to dress up tomorrow, Zeke?
My fight.
A fireman. That's right. So everybody enjoy your Halloween, stay safe, and enjoy yourselves. If you've learned anything from my thing, we're about to hit this pandemic's going to go into a different gear, so you should ultimately probably wear a mask like what everybody's suggesting. And oh boy, I've got a kid running around in front of me. Everybody enjoy the weekend. We'll see you on the other side. Have a good one.